Hello everyone, I'm Esperanza and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. And today, yes, we are still on lockdown and we're doing the session remotely. And today we're still in the topic of feathering, blooms, backwashes, stippling, and the topic is about horses. And we are going to paint this horse over here. And as I usually do, I identify the basic shapes before we start. So let's do that and let's start the painting. Okay, the basic shapes for this horse would be these two triangles in the circle. And after we identify that, we do the sketch based on those shapes. We use those shapes as guidelines. So we have to have our paper ready. And of course, our handy dandy pencil. And then the eraser that we will use later on to remove the guidelines before we paint the art piece. So let's start. Again, this is our horse. And again, we need a big triangle before we start. So I am just doing this. Oops. Doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. Oops. Okay, so this is looking far from perfect. So let me just erase this so you can see that I did draw a triangle. Yeah, okay, well, almost. It doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. So now we've done that. The next thing we do is to draw a circle, or almost like a circle, something like that. And we extend this line. Okay, so we extended that, and we are going to draw another triangle. So we just draw this and connect that here. So this is the basis or the sketch of our horse. So again, so you can see it better, what I drew is something like this. Okay, it's 1, 2 triangles and a circle. This is usually very useful for beginners, but if you've been sketching or painting for a long time, you wouldn't really need to do it in this manner. I usually just use an underpaint immediately to mark the shape of the object, and then I add the details later on. So these techniques vary from person to person. Okay, now we do our sketch. So what's the first thing we have to do? Yes, we have to cut this here because our horse doesn't really have this long pointy face. So we have to cut it somewhere. And we start here. So here at the bottom, we connect this round area here. Follow it just like that. And then we go up a little bit and in again. And from this curved point, we go out. And it's something like a square, but with curved edges. Then we go in, then a bit wavy, and then we follow the line. Now we do something parallel on this end. This is actually for the other nose. And here we draw a circle, a big circle. And that's the horse's nose. And then here, on the other end, what we do is connect these two triangles using curved line. Okay, and then after that, okay, we go up here, and then we go down, and we go a little bit here to the left, and we draw the eyes. We draw our horse's eye, and then we start putting the rest of the details. So here, we have the ear. Well, one of the ears. And then here we draw another ear. So we now have 2 ears. And then we draw the horse's hair. . and then here as well. Okay, let me just turn it around to see if I got the dimensions correctly. I need to do some adjustments here because as I can see, it's not really proportional. And it's difficult for me to see the proportions because it's facing the other side. So now that I can see it, I have made the adjustment. And I am now going to erase all the lines that I don't need. Those are the guidelines. So this circle is going to go away. The triangles are going to go away. I will just be left with my sketch. Okay. Okay. So we've done that bit. Now it's time to paint. Yes. Okay, let me just put my pencil somewhere safe. Yes, I do have a cup of coffee with me. Okay, I am going to use yellow ochre as my base. So for those who are not sketching, wanted to do this directly, you can use yellow ochre as an underpaint. And then I'm going to turn this around to make it easier for me. And yes, wet on wet would still be my preferred way of doing this. However, for it to dry quickly, we're using wet on dry. I don't advise you to use to do it dry on dry. And the reason for that is because you will see all the brush strokes. Okay, so we're now just feathering this end, as one of my students said, so that it looks like it's floating. So now we have the basic shape of the horse. Oh, the ears should be painted with a layer as well, the base layer, which is yellow ochre. And then also, I would like to paint yellow ochre on the hair. So there's more higher concentration of yellow ochre on the hair of this horse. And then we now will be using burnt sienna. So let me just get some burnt sienna. Yes, we would need both burnt sienna and burnt umber to give it dimension. Oh, and I would also need black later on to do the details and the shallows and all of those. So let's go back to burnt sienna. I'm just adding some water. If it's too concentrated, just add water. Okay, so I am now just, I think it is too concentrated. Let me just add more water. And there you are. Okay, so I'm just painting parts of the horse. And then as you can see, the lines can be seen. So I will be painting those lines with water. I'm gonna rinse my brush, just paint it with water so that the transition of the color is smooth. I am trying to create dimension, but I want a smooth transition in colors. Yes, and we have to do this fast because watercolor dries very quickly. So we need to ensure that we do it within the right time. Okay. And then, oh, here. So I need here as well. Okay. Okay. Now I just need to paint um, around the eyes. Oh, I need to paint the eyes with a little bit of burnt sienna just to stain it, because we don't really see the eyes in this painting, but we see the shadow. So I need to stain that to show that shadow. And then the nose, and then the mouth. Okay, and now I'm going to add the dimension. So I'm going to paint the edges with the burnt umber. And I'm gonna let it spread. Yes, oops, wrong paint. I have to use burnt umber. Okay, and then around the eyes. And again, it should spread softly, so we use water to help us do that. Okay, so the muscles of the horse, um, like this, there should be a line there, but again, it should not show that it's a real straight line that we can see, but more of a soft line that shows dimension, like one area deeper than the other. Okay, now it's time to, oh, I'm sorry. I will also be doing the hair. So I will start with this. I think I a little bit too much there, so I have to use that. So now I still have too much there, so I have to lift the paint. Yeah, maybe lift it in some areas as well. And now I need to use black. So some black paint here. And I am going to start with the eyes. So, and I'm just going to let the black paint mix with the brown paint by itself. And then later on, we might need to put another layer. Okay, now I'm going to do the ears. Okay, I need to turn this around. I think my ears are too small, so I just need to extend this a little bit. Yes, you can always do that, but you have to figure out when to adjust it and how to adjust it. Yeah. And still, I still think that the ears are too small. Okay. I just want to see my original image of the horse. Oh, yes, the ears are too small. Okay. Now, After doing that to the ears, I just need to put some lines here. Oh, perfect. Okay, now we will work on the neck here. Okay, so first we do this to give it the continuity it needs, and of course dimension it needs. Gonna rinse my brush to make it look smooth. So that's part of it now. This is a little bit more challenging because this involves more continuous application of the paint. Okay, and as you can see here, you have those lines, and you can see the strokes clearly. So what we're going to do is to dip the brush in water and just soften these lines. So far, so good. And yes, we can still see that some parts seem to have that darker areas than others. Okay, we're going to do something similar in this area. So I'm just going to apply some black paint. And I am going to spread this a little bit. And this is just to apply, to show dimension on the horse's neck. Okay, we're doing well so far. Okay, now, okay, we're going to put some black paint over here. And that is because this area is darker. It should be darker for our actual horse because it should highlight the area of the eyes. And then we move down here where we see our nose. And then here. And then here. So now we just soften these areas. Okay, and there. Then I need to turn this around so I can see it. Ah, well done. Very well done. Okay, I just have to do the eyes and then we should be good to go. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of orange to the ears. And I might need to lift some of the black paint. Okay, I'm going to use orange instead of yellow ochre. And because I've used orange there, I have to balance it and put orange somewhere else on the horse. So I'm going to put the orange here in this part. And maybe here. Okay, now I just have to work on the eyes. So I'm just going to get some black paint. This one should be concentrated because I have to show the eyes, I mean the distinct shape for the eyes. So let me just turn this a bit so I can see the proportion if I'm still on the right track. Yes, I am. Yes, so now, okay, now I just have to put the harness on. And to do that, I just paint this with black, just like that. Okay, I cannot see this bit too much, so. Okay, so after painting this area with black, I am going to paint the horizontal line here. Okay. And then here I'm going to paint a circle. And then from this circle, I'm going to paint a straight line going up, also in black, and another line going down, also in black. Okay, I would need to lift this, and I would need to lift some color out of the circle. So this one, because this is supposed to be a metal bit, so everything that's not metal should be black, really dark. And the rest of the circle should be something more like gray. Okay. So we now have the face of a horse. And again, just to summarize how we did it. First, we identified the basic shape involved in that face. Then we did the sketch. And then from the sketch, we painted it. So I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you had a great time. And I hope you're able to apply what we learned in feathering, blooms, backwash, stippling, and all of those. And I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.